Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend and good and summery and sunny for you. So we got a lot of stuff to cover today, and we have a special guest that I think you'll enjoy hearing. So first thing I wanted to talk about here is, you see, this is from Head of Retirement Research at Morningstar. So he, and again, he's not the only one saying this, but they're saying that basically the 4% rule is done. Why is the 4% rule done? At least for now. Why is the 4% rule done? At least for now. The answer's in here, but yeah, interest rates. That's right, Kevin. So thanks to historic. Oh, duh. Here's the well. Here's the answer. So you're right, Kevin. Interest rates and that are thanks to historically low interest rates that are unlikely to rise anytime soon, following the popular 4% rule for retirement account with withdrawals may deplete your savings. In the past, a 65-year-old who withdrew 4% would have a 95% chance of sustaining over 30 years. However, this is based on a historical average yield of 4% for 5-year treasuries. Are we anywhere near 4% for 5-year treasuries? But there is something that would give you 4%. What would give you 4% going forward and still be guaranteed? Yeah, FIAs, that's right. The recent yield of 0.4% cuts yield of just 0.4% cuts the probability of 4% withdrawal rate lasting 30 years down to roughly 50%. How many of your clients want a 50-50 chance of running out of money? That could force you to rely on guaranteed income alone, Social Security, etc., which may not be enough to maintain a lifestyle. What to do instead? Follow a 3% rule. First, create a portfolio split evenly between large cap stocks, which have historically returned about 10% per year, and 5-year treasuries. The first year that you start to make retirement withdrawals, take out 3%, blah, blah, blah. Even using ultra low treasury yields, a 65-year-old following this strategy has a 90% chance of running out of money. So that's a much better way to approach things, but at least for it is now. But if we apply some math to this, let's say 5 minus 3 equals 2, and 2 divided by 3 equals 66. So why did I do that? What are those numbers? What are those numbers? Why did I put these numbers up? 5 minus 3 equals 2. And then we take the 2 and you divide it by that 3% income rule, and we get a 66%. What does the 5 represent, do you think? What does the 5 represent? Jeff, what can we get from the sale?
We can comfortably withdraw 5%.
Which means, what are we doing to the 3% rule?
We're just saying, well, the difference is you can get an additional 2%, which is 66% more income.
Yeah, safely. What else can give us that, guys? What else can give us a more than 5% rate of return for 95% of people? What are the 2 ways we can get an increase of 5% for our clients? Sale is one of them. What else? Oh, possibly, Dennis. Absolutely, possibly. Guys. Come on. Ah, thank you, Nick. Really? Is Nick the only one that gets this, guys? We've been talking about this for how long? What are the ways we can get our clients an additional 25% or more on their retirement income? Sale is one. What's the other one? Yep, Tom's got it, and Nick's got it. Dudes. It's our unique selling proposition. Get our clients 25% or more. Get our clients 25% or more increase in their retirement while lowering their chance of running out of money, and you don't even need to move assets. Now, with the sale, you need to move assets. What's the one you don't need to move assets? You're right, Steve. It is one of the distribution strategies. What is the distribution strategy that allows us to get a 5% or more rate of return for 95% of people out there? Well, yeah, Nick's got it. Tom's got it. Steve, you have the right idea. Which one of the distribution strategies? Guys, if you don't know this, you are kicking yourself in the shin if you don't know this stuff backwards and forwards. How many of your, if you were at a dinner party, guys, if you were at a dinner party and said, hey, and somebody said, what do you do for a living? You said, well, what I do is I get people 25% more income, 25% more income in retirement, and they actually have less chance of running out of money. And they don't even need to move their money to do that. What is the first thing that person is going to say? Yes. How? How do you do that? How do you do that? How many of your competitors are using that unique selling proposition? None. So, guys, you need to know that backwards and forwards. You shouldn't even have to think about it when I ask that question. It should pop right out of your mouth. Okay? Okay, so please, please, please. Now, the great thing about this, yeah, we covered it last week, John, right? We covered it last week. You guys have been in Margaritaville too long. So again, we're going to get, with 5Q, we can give people 66% higher rate of income than they can get from 3% withdrawal rate. That's a big or a little thing, guys. That's a big thing. And then add that onto the tax methodology that we talked about in our tax seminar, and you're well above that. You almost double people's rate of return with the things that we offer. These are things you should know backwards and forwards, because are people going to move to you for better products, guys? Everybody answer this, yay or nay. Yes for yes, and or Y for yes, and N for no. No. So yeah, people are not going to move to you for a better product. Are they going to move to you because you got a better money manager? So the only reason people are going to move to you is why? You're offering something nobody else offers. You got to have, so, and we have that. We have that. We have that. We have that. You should know this backwards and forwards, okay? Now, we also have other things at 5Q to offer besides just that. And the real reason people leave their current advisor is because they no longer trust their advisor. So the guest I have on today is Howard, and he's going to, he shared with me a story that I thought was extremely powerful about not even talking about the money. So I've been saying, hey, look at the money, the move for the money, the move for the money, the move for the money. He made the point that, no, they'll move even if we don't even talk about the money. So Howard, welcome to the call today. Can you kind of share what happened to you with your with the family you were telling me about?
Sure. And thanks, Mike. So this was just before COVID, and a client died, and the two children that lived near him had already become my clients. His daughter that lived in Montana hadn't. And when he died, she came out, and we met with her, and she said, right off the bat, she says, I've got a financial planner, he's a friend of the family. I'm just going to have it moved there. So we just said, yeah. And then. So
I'm going to jump in there. You didn't try to argue with her. You didn't say no. You didn't try to sell her on why she needs to move the money. Their parents had just died. You're a good guy. You said, if you want me to send the money, I'll send the money.
Yep. Yeah. And we did that. And she was coming back. Her sister had told me that. And I wanted to talk with the sister about the 21 Light. And I said, hey, could we do that when she's here? Do you think she'd listen? And she goes, well, I'll ask her to. So long story short, that meeting happened, and it was my first presentation, and I'm not the best to begin with, but we got through it. And a couple times during it, one or the other would say, oh, I didn't know that. And so I knew it was, and I knew that because when I read it, I didn't know it. And so, and at the end, I said, are there any questions? And Karen had a couple. And then I turned to Sue. I said, do you have any? She said, I just have one question. Can I move my money to you? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I'll send you the paperwork right away. And she became my client, still is. So
why do you think she made that? Did she tell you why?
I didn't ask, Mike. I just wanted to.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So, but you know why she did, and why did she?
Well, a death had just happened, and she was faced with all that stuff, thinking about it and her family, and she several times during that said, "Oh, I need this. This is good." So I heard that a couple times from her. So she was thinking of her family. You know, when someone in your family dies, you kind of think, "Am I set up? Have I got everything right?" And she hadn't, so she was real thankful for it. And it was new stuff to her, and her financial planner had not talked about any of this stuff. So in a way, it was just a slam dunk.
Well, I really appreciate, and like you said, it was the first time you'd ever presented a 21 light, so it wasn't like you were had it down pat and you were just so awesome at presenting it. It was just the fact that you were taking, that you cared enough to do this stuff, and you weren't asking for anything back.
Exactly, and I didn't expect anything, but I thought it would at least warm her up a little bit, and maybe over time I could convince her. But the 21 light convinced her. And
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for, first of all, doing it, Howard, because I know that first one is a little bit nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I picked Karen, because she's a friend in addition to being investing with us, and I knew she would be easy on me. So.
Well, thanks for sharing that, and guys, please pay attention to what Howard is saying here. Is that just doing these things with clients, and I mean, many people have experienced a death in the family, and they know how, especially the people we work with, they know how important this stuff is. So thank you again very much, Howard, for doing the 21 light and for sharing it with everybody and the success that you had with that. You bet, and thanks to 5Q and everybody there for it, so that I could present it. Well, we appreciate you very much, Howard. Thank you. You bet. Take care. You betcha. And then, that's a fantastic story that Howard said there, and kudos to him for just going ahead and doing it. Instead of practicing, he just did it. Boom. And that's the kind of success you have. That's the power of the system. Not even the delivery of the system, but the power of just doing the system. And then another topic, Jeff and I were talking last week, and he came up with about the environment we're in right now, and he came up with a great point, as he often does. And I said, wow, everybody needs to hear that. So Jeff, can you kind of talk about what we talked about and the point you were making to me? Yeah. I want to start by telling a story about how grandmasters, chess masters think. I heard a podcast one time where he was talking, and he said, there's kind of this long-running myth that people have this idea that chess masters can look 20, 30, 40 moves ahead. And he said it's kind of a myth because while it's true that a lot of us can, that's not actually how we play chess. Because if you think about it, if you look at a chessboard, in the first 4 moves, there are 318 billion move combinations. So being able to look 20, 30 moves ahead really wouldn't help you that much when there are 318 billion possibilities. He said actually what we do is we work backward. We look at where we want to get to, a situation where we know that we can win. And then we try and manipulate the board into that situation. So we're actually thinking backward. He said, I'll give you an example of it. Suppose there were 6 cards laying face down, and each one had a number on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but you can't see the numbers. You're just asked to pick a card. So you pick one, and you look at it, and it's 2. And then the other guy across the table picks one, and he looks at it. And now he has the choice of asking you if you want to trade. So he looks at his card, and he says, yeah, I want to trade. So do you accept his trade? Well, most people would say, well, 2, I have a 2, that sucks. I mean, sure, I want to trade. I mean, there's a higher probability of, there's 4 chances of getting a higher card than 2. So yeah, I want to trade. But a chess master would look at it different, and he would say, well, let's think about this. 6, well, they're not going to want to trade.
they're not going to ask to trade because that's the highest card. 5, they're not going to ask to trade because there's only one card that could beat them. 4, they're not going to ask to trade either because they know 4s and 5s don't ask to trade. So it's not a 4. 3, it could be a 3, but 3s know 4, 5s, and 6s don't trade, so he's not going to ask. So he either has a 2 or a 1, and I have the 2, so he has the 1. No, thank you. I don't want to trade. That's the power of thinking backward. So what does that have to do with our situation? Well, we're advisors who are always looking to bring on new clients and prospects, and that means marketing is a big part of what we do. And in the environment that we're in, you know, we all experienced COVID back a year ago when everything was shut down and we couldn't do any marketing. Now, thank goodness everything is open back up. And if you look forward, you would think, well, you know what? It may not get better, but it may not get worse. So, you know, this is a good environment. It's a lot better than it was. I mean, we can all admit it's a lot better than it was. But if you kind of think backward, you would realize, you know what? Going forward, it's only going to be bad for us. Even good news is bad for us. And here's what I mean by that. We all read in the paper, and we all hear on the news about the Delta variant and how bad it is and how bad it's getting. And even though a lot of things aren't closing down, at least here in Minnesota and other places, they're saying, well, we don't want to close things down, but you should probably wear a mask indoors again, even if you're vaccinated. It's optional, but even if you're vaccinated, you should probably wear a mask indoors. We're not telling you you can't go and do stuff. We're not even going to tell you you have to wear a mask, but we're highly suggesting that you do. Well, that's going to spook some people. Well, it's not going to spook everybody. Let's say it just spooks a third of the people and they say, well, I'm just not going to go out. Okay, so now we're down from 100% of the people that we could market to being open to attending one of our events to 2/3 of the people being open to attending our events. And then, you know, you read about the Delta variant and there's stories out there that the Pfizer vaccine is only 42% effective against it, and that the Moderna is not much better, it's 58. Well, that's going to spook some more people. Not everybody, but some more. So now we're down to not having 100% of people to market to, but now having only 2/3 of the people to market to. And now because of these stories, having only half the people to market to. But let's say there's good news. Let's say we read that, hey, you know what? We think we can engineer a vaccine that will stop the Delta variant in its tracks. And all you need is a booster shot. It'll only be 12. And because we already, more good news, we have the kind of the infrastructure in place to roll that out quickly. So 12 to 16 more weeks, we'll have that variant. You can get a booster shot and it'll all be fine. Well, how does that help us? Because now we have more people who are going to think, well, you know what, if all I have to do is hunker down for 12 weeks and then get a shot, that's fine. I'll still be out by Thanksgiving, Christmas. But can you market over Thanksgiving? Can you market over Christmas? I mean, it's as good as it's going to be right now. It might not get worse, but it isn't going to get better. It's only going to be as good as it is right now. And if we get more bad news, it's going to be worse. And if we get good news that there's a vaccine on the horizon 12 weeks from now, well, then people will just hunker down for 12 weeks and get their shot and then go back out. But that's not going to help you. And that's actually going to hurt.
Can I jump in there a second, Jeff?
Sure, go ahead.
So you made a point, but I want to make it again. Guys, does it matter where you fall? And everybody answer yay or nay to this. Does it matter where you fall on the mask debate? Does it matter where you fall on the vaccine debate? Does it matter what you think at all? No, it matters at what? Jeff pointed out that, hey, not 100% of people believe COVID. Not 100% of people believe masks. Not 100% of people believe the vaccine is working. It doesn't matter. You lose a third here, you lose a third here. Can we agree that not everybody agrees that COVID is make-believe? Can we agree that not everybody believes that we shouldn't be wearing masks? Can we agree that not everybody believes that you shouldn't get a vaccine? Can we all believe that? And is everybody on the spectrum of where their belief lies based on, there's a lot of people who didn't believe in the vaccine that believe in it when they're in a hospital bed. And all their family all of a sudden started believing too. So everybody's on this spectrum of whether they believe or not. It does not matter. What Jeff's talking about, what is reality? And what's the reality, Jeff? That we're going to lose everybody, or that nobody's going to pay attention, or that it's it's a death of 1,000 cuts?
Yeah, it's a death of 1,000 cuts. It's never gonna be better than it is right now. It can only get
So if you want to
market now. I mean, I talked to a lot of people who said that the way they were able to make it through the last kind of COVID disaster was they had luckily done a seminar or a workshop just before everything shut down, and they were able to follow up with those prospects and stay in business. This is the time, guys. If you're going to market, you got to be that squirrel who puts away the nuts and does something now and doesn't wait till later hoping that it's still going to be open. We know it's open now. We know we have opportunity now, and we've got to jump on it now and do something in September and October. Hope we still might be able to do things in November and December, but we might not. And so we got to do them while we can do them. Make hay while making hay is good, and be ready to go so that if anything does happen, and we don't know if it's going to happen, it may not, but if it does, you're okay.
Because in reality, guys, how many more months are left to market in this year? How many more months? Two or three. September, I'm sorry, two. You're right, Nick. September, October. Do you want to be marketing in November and December? So if you want to be marketing, now is the time to market. Because if we go back, if we have another and we're seeing it in some places, we have another, and people are starting to freak out. Whether doesn't matter what government does, doesn't matter what they mandate vaccine-wise or mask-wise. People are going to quit going into large group settings, and you're going to be back to trying to market via the Zoom calls again. So, and if you want to market in September, October, you darn well better do it how soon? How soon had you better get started if you want to market in September, October? Yes, it takes a month to get up and running. So if you want to market by the middle of September, you got to start today. If you want to market by the end of September, you got to start this week. So if you don't want to market, that's cool. But what Jeff's point was to me was that, you know, if these guys want to market, they'd better start now, because they got 1 or 2 months, and then if we go into another situation where they start to lock things down, or even if they don't lock things down, people get spooked and don't want to go out into public or public gatherings, we could be all the way another 12 months of this stuff. So guys, please start marketing now. And like Jeff said, I got a lot of guys that had, well, 2 guys I know had the best year ever last year. Guess why they had the best year ever last year? Because they were marketing going into the pandemic, and they were able to work through those people throughout the pandemic. Make sense? So Jeff, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I think that was a great point made. So how many of you like to double your income in the next year or next 2 years? Anybody? Otherwise, we can call the call now. So this is in Financial Advisor magazine. Russ Allen Prince, I love his stuff. He was talking about how to double your revenue in 24 months. And it's actually revisited because he talked about this before. So he gives you the steps to do that. First, I'm sorry, here we go. Let's see if I'm going to jump through here. So what he says is you need to find your 5 best people. And what does he mean by best people? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. But you got to think about finding 5 people to work with, okay? And then you want to think about yourself first. When it comes to your business, you're going to think about yourself first. It's crazy if you don't think about yourself first. You're going to think about yourself first. And then you want to think of your customers, okay? What do I want? Oops. What do I want? And then what do my customers want? You got to take care of your goals, but you got to take care of your customer goals too. So what you want to do is find, I don't know, I missed a slide in here, so I apologize, guys. You want to find 5 of your the best people. Now, Who could those people be? Who could those people be? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So they might be big clients. Would you like to duplicate your big clients? Yes. It could be a center of influence. Have any of you ever had a client that wasn't a big client, but they got you in front of their church to present? Or they know because they're so nice and everybody loves them, they know shakers and movers. And yeah, so it could be somebody who's not a good big client of yours. Could it be somebody who's not even a client of yours, but is a center of influence? Maybe you know somebody in politics. Maybe you know somebody in sports. Maybe you know somebody in business, and they can get you in front of people. Could be a professional like an accountant or attorney. Could even be someone else in your industry. Could be maybe it's a younger advisor. Maybe it's if you're an insurance professional, maybe it's a money manager that you could form a relationship with. So it could be somebody in the industry. It could be even somebody on your team, like your assistant. Have you ever, a different niche? That's right, Nick, a niche. Now, you probably have heard me talk about, before Missy, when I was still struggling, I had an assistant, and she came to me from another advisor. That advisor offered her a 50-50 split of anybody she referred. She happened to be one of those centers of influence, super nice person who knew a lot of people, and they trusted her. Now, here's why she became my assistant, was because first time she referred somebody to the guy, it was going to make him $24,000, so he owed her how much money? How much money did he owe her? $12K. Guess what he didn't do? He's like, man, all she did was refer me this person. She didn't do anything else. So he gave her a couple of $1,000s instead of the $12,000. She quit, moved to me. Now, she referred 3 more people to me, and she ended up making over, I think it was like $31,000. But what did I make? $31,000. I gave her the same deal. So I was $31,000 richer. How stupid was that guy? Because he's how much richer? He was 10 grand richer. I was 31 grand richer. So it could be somebody on your team, like your assistant, or it could be even if you're, registered rep, it could be your principal or something like that. Okay. It could be one of our guys, or 2 of our guys. I know that the people that helped them with their marketing had no clue what they did, and when they found out what they did and how they took care of their clients, the people who were helping with their marketing became their clients, and their parents of them became their clients. So find those 5 people that you think, wow, I think that person would be a good person to duplicate. That person would be a great person to be out in the community talking about me. That person would be able to give me referrals of great people. That person is somebody who I could help succeed in their industry, and they could help me. Or it's somebody on my team that can help me. So find those 5 people, and then decide what you want from each of these people. What exactly do you want? And then write it down. Write it down. Decide what you want from those people and write it down. Why do you need to write it down? Should you type it down, or should you hand write it down? Is there something that happens psychologically when you write something down with a pen and paper? Yes. Write it down. Now, what if you wrote down, I want more referrals? Is that a good thing to write down? Tom's got it. It's not a good thing. You need to be more specific. You need to be more specific. If you want more referrals, you should write down what? Yes, a number. Write down the number that you want. So if your goal is to double your income, for example, do you even though care about how many referrals do you get? I've often Missy and I laugh because my best seminar was a seminar where I only had 1 person show up. Why was that my best seminar? Why was that my best seminar? Yeah, 100% conversion. They move close to $1 million. Am I happy? Do you really care, guys? Do you really care how many prospects that you get in front of? What do you really care about? If your only client is Buffett, are you okay? Yes. So you're not. His point, Russ Allen Prince's point was, maybe you're going to have a specific number, but maybe instead you should have a specific money goal instead of quantity. So I would like to make $250,000 from that. So think dollars generated, not numbers. Yeah, Prince goes after billions. You're right, John. So think dollars generated, not numbers, okay? So now, step one, find the 5 people. Step 2, figure out what do you want from them. Is it dollar quantity of things, or is it a certain dollar amount? Okay, now that you've got that, that's done. So you've identified your self-interest. You've decided what you want from them. Now you need to figure out what they want. So ask them what they want. So guys, can you all, is 5 too big a number? If it's too big a number, do what? Do 3. But pick a number and identify those people, and then sit down with them, buy them lunch, buy them breakfast, whatever it may be, and ask them what they want. And then once they tell you what they want, ask them some more. Why do you want to ask them some more? Guess what the first thing out of their mouth is going to be? What do you think the first thing out of their mouth is going to be? Well, I've got more referrals. Maybe. It could be I want nothing, maybe. Generally what's going to happen is they're going to be vague. They might say, I want good investment performance, or I want great service, or I want the latest thinking on the market. Is that specific, or is that general? So if specificity works for you, it also works for them. Okay? If it's a client, if one of those 5 people or 3 people, whatever number you choose, is a client, encourage them to think about more than money. Because there's more to life than a little money, you know. And here you are. It's a beautiful day. Find out what they want. Does what people want necessarily have to do only with money? What other? And Tom, you've heard me sing Tom's praises constantly because he is the referral king. He makes me sad the way I got referrals when I was in business, because he gets 2 or 3 big referrals every single month. Guess why he gets 2 or 3 big referrals every single month? He does a fantastic job of communicating with his clients and their prospects, and he does it in a very specific way. They love him because he does the 21-point checklist, because they know that he cares. But the way he communicates, they know that he cares not just because of the 21-point checklist and all the things he does, but because he asks, that's right, he asks a lot of questions. He knows when he sends a little gift to them, he knows if they're a whiskey connoisseur or a cigar connoisseur, or that they love their grandkids, or that they're going back to school to get their degree, even though they're retired. He knows what that is, and guess what? All of his communications and all of his little gifts and things that he does for them all revolve around that specific thing. Find out exactly what your client wants, if it's going to be one of them. If it's a small business person, maybe they want to grow their business, right? Maybe they want to grow their business. That's what they want most. If they're a professional, maybe they want to grow their business. But ask them what they want, and if they want to grow their business, you have to ask them what. If a small business person wants to grow their business, a professional wants to grow their business, what do you need to follow up? What question do you need to follow up with? What question did you have to follow up? Well, that's a good one. With whom? What question did you have to follow up for yourself when you said, I want to grow my business, or I want more referrals? Yeah, that's an excellent one, Kevin. That's excellent, Bruce. How much, or what does that mean when you say grow your business? How much do you want to grow it? Or what does that mean when you say grow your business? Does that mean open additional brick and mortar stores? Does that mean grow it online? Does that mean get more customers per year? Does that mean have customers with a high that spend more money? Who is your ideal client? Find out exactly what they want. Why do you want to find out exactly what they want? Is it going to be easier to deliver and help them if you know exactly what they want, or if you know vaguely what they want? If your wife's birthday's coming up and you ask her, what she wants for her birthday. She says, oh, just get me something nice. You have now just signed up for what? Failure, death, hell, right? All of those things. Hair pulling, right? So if I want to make my job easy for my wife's birthday, I'm going to ask her to be what? Or I'm going to keep probing till I find out exactly what she wants, not a vague thing. So if we want to get these 5 people, whether it's a client, a center of influence, a professional, a small business person, if we want them to give us what we want, we need to know specifically what that thing is. And if the way we're going to do it is by finding out what they want specifically so we can deliver that for them. Does that make sense? So now that's done, you know what you want specifically from that person. You know what they want specifically. So to get what you want, help others get what they want. For professionals and small business people, do we have a way to give them what they want? Especially if they want to grow their business. Does 5Q give you tools to help them get what they want? What is that tool? What is that tool? Because what do they want? What do small business people and professionals generally want? They want to grow their business. They want to become more successful. Do we have a tool that will help them do that? What's that tool? Anybody? This is the tool. Every month, Jeff writes great pieces that you can send out to CPAs, attorneys. And what is a letter that, and it's just a one-page letter that you put on your letterhead. Does that letter tell them all the things that you can do for them? Does it tell them about all the things that you can do for their clients? That you got these money management techniques, that you got the 21-point checklist, that you do this, that, and the other thing for their clients. You can make their clients really life a lot better. Is that what the letter is about? That's right, Kevin. It is not what the letter is about. What is the letter about? Yep, it shows that you care, yeah. But what is the letter about? How does it show that we care? That's right, helping them, Bruce. It helps them grow their business, help them look smart in front of their client. It doesn't say, hey, let me get in front of your client because I can show them how smart I am. No, it's saying, hey, have you thought about this? You should share it with your clients so that they can look brilliant in front of their clients. That helps them grow their business. How about the small business? What's that letter about? Same thing, about how they can grow their business. How many of you have looked, how many of you are familiar, can I get some people that would say, no, I'm not familiar with the small business system and how it works, or would like a quick review of that? Would anybody like a quick review, a 3-minute review of the small business system? Okay, so we're getting a lot of yeses. Okay, the small business system is this, is that my favorite client was a small business person. Now, there's a caveat to that. I never worked with small business persons until what happened. I never worked with a small business person until what happened. I don't want to work with a small business person while they're still in business, because where's all their interest? Where's all their interest in their business? Where's all their money in their business? Where's all their time spent in their business? Where's all their worry in their business? So guess how much time they have for me? Not a lot. Some of you like to do 401ks. I hated 401ks. Guess why I hated 401ks? How much money do you make on a 401k for the amount of work that you do on a 401k as compared to selling somebody with $500,000 in an annuity? You make very little money for the amount of work that you do. So I didn't want to do 401k. So when did I want to work with small business clients? And I only worked with one about every 2 or 3 years is when I would get a small business client. When did it? Yes, when they sold their business, Bruce. When they sold their business. Now, do you ever know when somebody's going to sell their business? Is that usually public information, or do you see it just show up in the paper? It just shows up in the paper. The pot of gold isn't. That's right. So here's the thing. I need to find them before they sell their business. But when you get a small business person, it's the easiest sale you've ever made, because their business is sold for $5 million, $10 million, $15 million. And if they ever had that kind of money in their pocket before? No. See, they've been working. I mean, they just worked from month to month to month to month. They've never had that kind of money, and it freaks them out. It freaks them out. Do they want to manage that $15 million, or do they want to find somebody to manage it for them as quickly as possible? They want to find somebody else. They do not want to manage it. It scares them. They're like, this is my one shot. If I screw this up, I'm done. So guess what they will do? They want to find somebody. Now, who are they going to choose? They're going to choose the person who helped them throughout their business and never asked for a single thing back. So the pot of gold that Jeff does a fantastic job of writing is a little letter they put on your letterhead that you send to family businesses. So you need to find with a pot of gold system that's on our website, what you're going to do is find, say, 50 family-owned small business. It has to be family-owned. It can't be corporate-owned. Family-owned small business. There's lots of ways to find out for the Better Business Bureau. There's sources online, whatever. You find 50 small business, and you send them the pot of gold letter, or this small business pot of gold letter every single month. Now, that means is one of those businesses going to be sold this year? Probably not. Will it be sold next year? Probably not. Will it be sold the next year? Probably. The reason you do this is because, and the reason you need a lot of businesses is because it doesn't happen very often. But if you're that one person when it happens, how big a ticket is that? If you get a $15 million ticket, that's just made your what? Year or 3 years? If you get a $10 million ticket, year or 3 years? So it's such a simple thing to do, because guess how much work it takes to send out 50 letters a month? It might take maybe a day to find those 50 family-owned businesses. But after that, you're only sending out 50 letters a month. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, consistency is the key there. So does that make sense? You know, and the other thing you can do for business people is coach them. Who is better at growing their business than a financial advisor? Not many, because the people that run the hardware store, the people that run the carpet cleaning business, they're actually pretty good at marketing. I'll take that back. Carpet cleaning business, they're pretty good marketers. But the hardware store or any of the other small businesses in town, are they awesome at doing seminars? Are they awesome at marketing their business? Are they awesome at doing epidemic marketing? No. So could you coach them on how to get better at marketing? Do you know more or less than the average small business person out there? You know a ton more about marketing than they do. And for your clients, like we said with Tom, what he does, he gets personally knows exactly what they want. So you find out what they want, and then once you start giving it to them, you got to track the results. By giving, so you find these 5 people or these 3 people, and after 6 months, you've given to your best of your ability what exactly they want. What do you need to see after 6 months? If you've given them exactly what they want, what do you have to start seeing after 6 months? Now, with the small business pot of gold system, all you're doing is sending out a letter. You're doing that to 50 people. That's easy to do. But for those 3 or 5 people that you put a ton of personal effort into, constantly trying to think of what can I give them, what can I give them, what can I give them, how can I help them achieve those specific goals they gave me? You're not going to do that for 50 people. You're going to do that for 3 to 5 people. If you don't see any results, what do you need to do? You need to say, well, that person I need to replace with somebody else. That person, I've got to watch that closely. Oh, that person, it's working great. So once you start doing this with 3 to 5 people, and again, you understand we're not talking about the pot of gold. The pot of gold is somebody, you send out 50 letters. That doesn't require a lot. Does that require a lot of effort, guys? Finding the 50 family-owned businesses and sending out 50 letters a month. Does that require a lot of effort? No. But this 3 to 5 people, does that require effort? Yes, that requires a lot of effort. So track the results. If you're not getting the results you want from the person, get rid of them. If it's questionable, we'll either double down or sit down with them again and have a conversation about, are you getting what you thought you'd get from me, blah, 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 blah. And if it's somebody who's giving you what you want, well, double down on them too. So and again, Russ Allen Prince coaches advisors and as somebody mentioned earlier, that he coaches advisors that go after the millions and millions of dollars, not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he's very successful at this. He said most of those advisors don't get it. And he gives an example. He was helping one wealth manager do this with an accountant. So the accountant, and the wealth manager are on the phone. And they find out that the accountant wants not more clients. He wants more high net worth or high-end clients that maybe own 2 or 3 businesses, because then with one client, he gets a big paycheck instead of taking care of 10 clients with smaller paychecks. So he wanted more high-end clients with more complicated situations. So Russ and the wealth manager walked through some products and ideas that would attract those people. And then Russ starts to brainstorm with the accountant about high-end clients the accountant knows that they could share this with. So far, so good, guys? Is everything going how you'd want it to go? Yeah. And then the manager blew it. Guess what the wealth manager did? Well, Russ and the accountant are brainstorming about high-end accountants to approach. Take a wild guess at what the wealth manager did. Remember, we're not supposed to tell, sell, preach, and teach? Guess what the wealth manager started to do? Jump in and help brainstorm to find clients? No. In the middle of the conversation, the advisor interrupted and he said, let's stop talking about clients. Let me explain my investment philosophy. What do you think happened when he did that? Bye-bye. That's right. Bye-bye. So why did that happen? This is a high-powered accountant, okay? How many wealth managers does he work with, and how many wealth managers have approached him with how great their money manager is? Lots. So instead of helping, because when Russ was talking about the client with what high-end clients he knows and how those ideas would work, what is the accountant thinking? That it's about him, the accountant himself, or about the advisor? He's thinking, oh, yeah, no, this would help me, this would help me, this would help me. But then the advisor said, I don't really care how it helps you. Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me tell. Let me sell. Let me preach. Let me teach about what I know. Guys, it has to be about who? It has to be about the other entity. So that's one reason that Russ Allen Prince says that people don't succeed with this, is because they can't stop telling, selling, preaching, teaching. They can't stop talking about themselves. Me. Stop it. What's the second reason that this fails? What's the second reason? Because they say, well, geez, that's a lot of work. I got to sit down with them. I got to set up tracking for them. I got to brainstorm on what they want, how to get it to them. I got to constantly be aware of opportunities to find and give them these things. It's just too much work. Yeah, they do it for a month, and will this work, Kevin, in a month? Most likely, no. It's going to take what? At least a couple, 3 months of you being consistent, like once a month, or lots. Has to be lots. Okay? Years. That's right, Steve. So please, the best ideas will come instantaneously, or will pay instantaneous results, or the best ideas take a long time. For example, radio is a fantastic way to get in front of people and to create a business. What's the problem with radio? How much time do you have to invest? Yeah, it takes years. And how many months? Then this takes lots of years and lots of money. But after you spend 5 years and $100,000 on your radio show, then it works terrific. But guys, it does work terrific. Are we talking about 5 years here and hundreds of thousands of dollars, or tens of thousands of dollars? No, we're talking about what? 3, 4, 5 months and a little elbow grease and brain power to put anything together. Does that make sense? So this is a way to significantly increase your business by using a little thought and using a little bit of money and using a little elbow grease. Make sense? And yes, the big thing is you gotta be consistent with this. So if you're not going to commit to being consistent with it, don't jump in and do it, because it'll be just wasted time and effort. All right? So what did we get out of today's call? One is, if you're going to market soon, because we don't know what's going to happen 3 or 4 months ago. And regardless of what happens, we've only got September, October to market anyways, because once you get into the holidays, you can get in front of people, but the problem is then the sales process will get stalled, because they'll come to an event, they'll respond to something, but trying to get them to see you, get you the documents, etc., they've always got a reason not to do it during the holidays. Oh, call me after the holidays. Call me after the first of the year. And if you wait till that, they've forgotten why they even contacted you next year, okay? So if you're going to market, do it now. Second thing is the power of the 21 Light. If you're not doing 21 Lights with everybody that you have contact with, you're missing a super, super, super opportunity. Third thing is a little elbow grease with this program here that Russ Allen Prince came up with. A little elbow grease, very little money, can pay huge dividends over a couple of years, doubling your income over 24 months, over 2 years. All right? Super. Well, I threw a lot of stuff at you today. I appreciate being on the call, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.